What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And today I wanted to come on and look at the All-22 film from the offensive line yesterday. Now, last week, this unit played really good. They only gave up 1 sack, and they did lose Wes Schweitzer to an injury. So Trey Turner had to step in as the starting right guard. But other than that, it was the same line that we had last week against the Jaguars. But let me just be the first one that says it. They were schemed up perfectly at the beginning of the game. Their defense came out like a pack of hungry wolves, man. Their coach obviously had them ready to go and schemed up against what he knew we would come out and try to do. You know, one of the worst stats by far that came out of yesterday's game was the fact that they didn't see a single first down as an offensive unit until there was 5 minutes and 44 seconds left in the second quarter. And at halftime, this unit only had 56 total yards in offense. Now, as a team, that's ridiculous. They cannot do that if they want to win any game from here on out. And they put themselves in a big hole. They were down 22-0 at half, which is definitely not what I expected, that's for sure. At any rate, let's take a look at this film. And this was not pretty by any means at the beginning here. Now, the other part of this drive is the way it starts out. Like, it actually looks like it was last week, you know, like immediately a nice little quick pass. 34 played a really good game in this. I can't remember his name now, but he was all over the ball. As you see, he's kind of sniffed that out. Nobody was left in the hole there to get him. And here we are with some of the bad. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say that the defensive tackle, number 54, is really the one who sets the tone for this play. And as he shoots over and makes a move towards the A gap, he basically just kind of takes control of that center and leaves the rest of this hole right here completely wide open for 49 to blitz. And it didn't work out the way that they probably would have wanted. Now, JD picks up the block, but it flushes Carson out. And yeah, man, that Aidan Hutchinson kid is his freaking ends of his hair tips are on fire at this point in this game. Like, look at him. He went all the way around his man. Child's play over there. Look at him, 97, rolling around in circles, doing all kinds of craziness. You know, he was a top pick last year, and this guy is the real deal. And he went right around Charles Leno, kind of spun in a circle, and just came back around and got the sack. And there's not much that Leno can do there. He's got a lot more athleticism than him. And that kid's hands are like some sort of, like, I don't know, taekwondo master or something. Like, he's slippery. Look at him. Sack. I mean, and you hate to see that, but at the same time, you know, that guy has so much athleticism, and his motor is just like it's nonstop. It reminds me a little bit of Kerrigan, but he's a little bit more athletic, got a little bit more athleticism than Kerrigan, maybe even a little faster than Kerrigan. But yeah, that defense was just swarming all over Carson. Now, watch this play right here. This is a nice play action, but as soon as he goes to set back and look at his targets, he's got Hutchinson breathing down his neck again. I mean, and I kind of feel bad for John Bates in that situation. Look at Hutchinson's hands. Like, I mean, he is just slippery. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, he is fighting all over that. I'm going to stop it. Look at that. Look at that handwork right there. Like, he is all over John Bates right there. I mean, he is all over him. Watch. Look at that. I mean, it's just, there's really no stopping that. And he's a lot stronger. Pushes right through him. I mean, we want Bates to be better than that. But in reality, I'm not sure if he could hold somebody like him back for very long when he's got to push like that. And the rest of the line, 34 was in there again, pushed Gibson back. Carson was lucky to even get rid of that pass, to be quite honest with you. They're lucky that wasn't a sack as well. And here we are on third down, and they complete the pass. And I really like what Curtis Samuel's, what they're doing with Curtis Samuel this year so far. Using him kind of like a running back / wide receiver and having him cut back and all that. I enjoy the hell out of watching him catch those balls that way. But I really would enjoy it a lot better if Carson keeps a clean pocket like he does, like, in this play right here, a lot more often. And I realized, you know, they went with a quick, you know, pass play to be able to keep him without having any pressure there. And still, the defensive tackle was already, you know, coming at him full speed. Well, this play right here, Aidan Hutchinson doing it again. He's just a disruptor, you know. And this time it's on a Russian play, but he's just right there immediately. And Logan Thomas is the one that whips that time. He's abusing the tight ends in this game so far. Okay, so here is the strip sack safety. And this is on a lot of different factors here. Their defensive line is very aggressive, and their defensive scheme is really set right here. And I believe that they're out scheming Washington at this point. Like at least about 85 to 95% of what's going on here. But as this man right here comes off the edge, Leno just can't do anything with him, and he just goes right around the top on him and strips the ball right out of Carson's hand. And this is just one of those plays, man, and I hate that this kind of stuff happens, but Leno is more of a technician, and he just got, you know, he just got outplayed right there. We're lucky that we didn't lose a touchdown on that, and then it just, you know, Hutchinson was coming on the other side. He is just a freak. Hutchinson is 97. He's a freak. You know, and we're lucky that didn't turn into a touchdown, because that ball could have easily landed in his hands, and it could have been 7 points instead of 2. Decent little run here. They set up a decent little zone there for him to cut back on. Now this play right here, they just get beat again. Watch all the blue shirts shift to the direction of the ball versus how many of the white shirts that are not there at all. Yeah, I mean, he ran out of corner to turn, man. Honestly, this play right here, when I first saw it, I was like, why did he throw in the double coverage? Well, I'm honestly glad he got rid of it when he did, because looking back at it the second time, Logan Thomas almost gave up another sack there. Like, old boy was going to come up, 99 was going to come up on Carson's backside, and it was going to get, and it was going to, I mean, on Carson's, backside, his blind side, and it was going to get to be bad there for a second. And 54 was almost on him as well. Their guys are just pushing our guys around at this point. Now, this play right here had the makings of a decent screen, but 34 just blows this play completely up. Knocks the ball out of AG's hands right as he goes to grab it. Yeah, he just blows it up. And this is one of those plays when I first see it, I'm like, oh, okay, he's got a decent pocket this time. And it just, I don't know, as he goes to shift left, Aidan Hutchinson just pushes Sam Cosmi all over the place and ends up on the other side of the ball and gets the sack. I mean, what can you say? Hutchinson's a beast. Completely. Yeah. I mean, he's a beast. Let's watch it over again one more time. Yeah. Carson just runs right. I mean, Carson runs right into the sack, so it couldn't have been, you know, Carson's awareness was actually kind of off on that. But, man, I mean, the perfect situation happened for Hutchinson to be able to get another sack. Now, this is a nice little play right here. You know, they should have done more of this, more often of this, honestly. Logan comes off the line, chips Hutchinson, you know, right before he goes off into his route, and Carson hits him after he's in a really good pocket, actually. It was really clean, and Carson hits him, and he gets a decent little gain there. I'd love to see more of that, to be quite honest with you. You mix that into a drive and, you know, a couple other plays, and you got yourself something. Mind you, at this point, the team had still yet to get a first down, okay? That last play I just showed was actually 3rd and 16, and he did not get to the marker. Another decent little play right here to Curtis Samuel that I'd like to see more of as the season goes forward. And that time, the offensive line did a pretty good job of protecting. I don't believe Hutchinson was on the field at that point. Carson shows some pretty good awareness here and just lets go of the ball when he knows that he's having the pocket collapse and nothing really there. And here it is, folks, the first down of the day. And I like this little play right here. I love how they're using Dotson. That kid catches everything. Let's just call it like it is. And at this point, the line's starting to string a few plays together, doing pretty good. As for the most part, Carson keeps a pretty clean pocket. And when he has a clean pocket, he tends to find somebody open. You know, how many yards they get after that's not on him. Now, this was the oddest play of the entire football game. And I still don't really know what happened here, okay? But it's like they were trying to do the same thing that Detroit had done just a little bit ago. And I like the idea of doing a flea flicker. I do. We don't normally do this kind of thing. I haven't really seen Washington do this kind of thing in a while. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. When Carson gets the ball back, he does not throw the ball like Carson Wentz can throw the ball. I don't know what in the hell happened here. But I swear to you that Cam Sims is... stretching the field. Now, I never see Cam look back either. That's why I said it's the oddest thing. Because Cam is stretching the field. And I'm telling you, he could have hit him in stride with a... You know that Carson Wentz can throw that ball like that. You know he can. And it's just odd the way this whole thing goes down. Because he gets the ball back. And he goes to heave it. And it just goes completely in the wrong place. And then the defender drops it. Like, that should have been a pick all day long. What in the hell happened right here on this play? This is the weirdest play of the entire game. As you see, Cam has got a step on him. If the ball's thrown right, that's a touchdown. I don't know what in the hell happened here, okay? This is the oddest play ever. Maybe not ever, but definitely in this game. What in the hell? What? I have so many questions here, like... First of all, why did the ball go off to the right like that? Like, did Cam run the wrong route? Like, what happened here? Like, it's because the route that Cam was running was perfect. But the odd thing is, and I will take it back a couple little jukes or whatever. Cam never looks for the ball. Oh, he looks right there. He looks right there. He's looking. But the ball goes completely opposite way. So I'm guessing that Cam must have thought, well, I guess that ball's not going to me. I just don't understand this play at all. This should have been 7 points. If you look through the crowd, look at the people's expressions and the reactions going on in the crowd. Really, this is an odd situation right here. I have no explanation for this at all. That should have been 7 points right there, without a doubt. And here's another case of Detroit loading up on the right side of the line, or actually it's their left side, but what would be our right side of the line, and just coming full force, and they can't do nothing about it. Like, Carson has no time at all and barely gets away with it. Yeah, that could have actually been bad. The line actually does a pretty good job here, and Carson ends up finding J.D. McKissick for a decent little 4-yard play or whatever. But if you look up near where the linebackers are set right now when the play starts up, you'll see Curtis Samuel kind of roll into that little area unguarded. And that could have been a pretty big gain. I don't really know how much yardage he could have gained because he's so shifty, but I'm not really here to break down the quarterback film today. But the line does their job here, and Carson ends up hitting an outlet pass, and I really think he could have done more with this play. See right there. Watch. Right there. Here's Curtis Samuel, and literally, he is literally right there. If Carson waits another half a second, which he had time, and then looks, there's Samuel right there, and he has a lot of open field heading that direction. That could have been maybe another touchdown right there. I like to see plays like this where our running back sticks to the hole he's supposed to go into, even if someone's in it, and tries to power through. I actually like plays like that. Sometimes they get caught up, especially the shifty guys, especially these guys that are wide receiver turn running backs, and McKissick's actually one of those. They tend to look at that hole and think, nah, I don't want to dive through that hole. I'll just kick it out to the seaside or whatever, and I'll see what I could do on the edge, coming off the edge. Maybe I could, juke a little bit, maybe make up more in the open field if I could get there. But in reality, these plays are designed for them to be able to get, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they can bust free more, that's great. But the plays are designed for that. So You know, I love it when it comes to, you know, the running backs that just take what they can get. He doesn't try to. He actually ran over top of the defensive lineman, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, so watch him here. He literally runs over top of the defensive lineman. He puts his foot right on his freaking face mask. You know, and at this point, I'm not sure if the reason why Aidan Hutchinson wasn't getting to the quarterback was because of his foot injury, because he had an obvious, you know, pain or distress or whatever it was, coming on and off the field and limping a little bit. I don't know if it was either that or a change up in scheme for, you know, Washington to be able to start being able to hold their defense off a little better. But whatever it was needed. It was helpful, and at least they were able to not have the quarterback hit the turf every single time or in a chance of it. But even with Hutchinson out there, you know, a little dinged up, their defense was still tight on Washington pretty much all game long, all the way around the ball. You know, there were a few exceptions here and there, but Detroit played a really good game defensively, in my opinion. In the first half, they were lights out. This play here could have been something. I don't know what happened here, if the ball hit Terry and bounced off. I can't really tell, but yeah. And Hutchinson came off of the edge there on Wentz's blind side, and McKissick got him. Nice block over there. I love that. Oh yeah, nice crackback block on him. Yes, very nice. And yeah, I can't tell if that hit Akuta's hands or if that hit McLaurin's hands. I think it hit McLaurin on the hand or on the wrist, or I don't know. It hit somewhere over there. Anyway. Now this play looks so similar to Jamin Davis's sack at the beginning of the game. Now in this play right here, the Detroit Lions really played Andrew Norwell, okay? Number 68. He's the left guard right here for the Commanders. And I mean, they played him like a fiddle. But of course, for this to work correctly, Aidan Hutchinson again had to come around and do that little stunt off the back. And I absolutely love what that kid brings to the field. He's a complete monster. That's what I want Chase Young to come back and start doing. I don't know if Chase has the motor of that, but I know that Chase has the athletic ability, without a doubt. Probably has more athletic ability than Hutchinson. But I just love how he cuts back around, and when he does, Norwell tries to go after him, but gets caught up on 79 right here, and he gets caught up on Roulier as well, and they end up in a double team, and it leaves Hutchinson wide open coming back around the middle, and it just is something that they could not defend. And of course, he's all over Wentz. I mean, what is Wentz supposed to do there? Like, he's just caught up. You know, once they're caught up in that, you know, I'm not sure how you can defend that at all. Hutchinson is just, he's a weapon defensively. Thankfully, Carson went through his progressions fast here and saw that he had nothing anywhere else and dumped the ball to JD, because that bad man was coming again as Hutchinson was coming off that turn. And I'm going to tell you, I think he would have gotten around it and got a hand on Wentz. So, yeah, it was good that he let go of that ball when he did. You see on the backside there, 97. Again, that time he was on Cosme. They moved that guy all over the field, talking about Hutchinson, number 97. They move him all over the field. He's going to be a problem in this league for some years to come, man. And this is so odd, but the first time I saw this play, I did not even know what had happened. Like, where'd the ball go? All I saw was, I believe it's Samuel come across the middle, and he's basically wide open. And there's only 5 seconds left in the play, which obviously, you know, there was somebody still back deep and probably would have stopped Samuel, because they were in the prevent, the Lions were. But after watching the close-up here, it's quite obvious what happened. He actually hit the defender, like, literally in the chest with the ball as he was coming up. And it happened so quick that I don't even think the defender knew what was going on. I believe it's number 79. Yeah, number 79. He hit him right in the chest with the ball. And I guess Carson thought it might have been ruled a fumble eventually, so he tried to jump on it. But yeah, he hit him right in the chest with the ball. Had no clue what was going on in the game when this happened. As you see, here's Curtis Samuel right there running free. And he had a step, but there was another guy over here somewhere in coverage. This here is another one of those plays that I said that I like to see our guys hit the holes they're supposed to and just take the yardage they're given. And that's not me saying that I don't want them, you know, if they get a field to go left or right or juke or whatever. But just when the hole's there and you know you can gain 3 or 4, don't try to turn it into more and end up fumbling or doing something wrong, or maybe end up even losing yards, because that's happened before as well. But personally, I like those little 3-4 yard plays because, you know, especially on first and second down, because then it makes third down so much easier. Now, this play right here was a thing of beauty, and I love how Sam Cosmi uses Aidan Hutchinson against himself, basically, because he tries to do so much that he ends up turning himself around, and Cosmi's like, okay, let me go ahead and push you from behind too. I mean, he put himself there, and Cosmi was locked into it. What a play. Dotson is the real deal, man. Like, he is legitimately an unbelievable target. Look at that. Yeah, what a play. And then Dotson just puts the cherry on top. I mean, I love to see Hutchinson, the way that he moves there, and I love to see Cosmi kind of just lock into him and not let him do that. Now, Carson did right by letting it go then, because I don't know if Hutchinson had been able to been held up much longer. I like this play right here, but it just looks like the little pocket that they had just closes up too quick before Terry could really hit it and get out into the open field there. Nice little play here on third down. Curtis Samuel pays for this after the catch is made. He takes a decent little hit there in the end zone. But I tell you, this was another good play by the offensive line. Another good play by Carson Wentz, and a good catch by Samuel. But again, that offensive line did what they needed to do against Hutchinson on this play. They double teamed him. Now this play right here could have very well ended up badly, and Andrew Norwell was actually pulling to go to the right side over there and take care of anybody that might have been coming off the edge. And as he was pulling around the corner, he saw Aidan Hutchinson coming, and he was able to just turn Aidan Hutchinson outward just a little tiny bit and give Carson enough time to be able to get rid of that ball. It was just enough time. See, watch as the play goes through. Just enough time. And there was other guys coming through there. But, it's a decent little 18-yard gain there on first down, and the line really did their jobs there. And you can't see it from here, but I believe that's Gibson with the crack. No, excuse me. Is that Gibson? Yeah, that's Gibson with the block there in the backfield, I think. Good play there by the line. The line really made that happen. On this play here, the line did their job, but Gibby really fights for the yards there at the end. As you'll see, he actually spins and gets a couple more yards. He ended up with 8 there. Now here's the interception by Carson Wentz, and as you watch the film, it's not on the offensive line whatsoever. This was a case of Carson trying to throw the ball up high to Logan Thomas, and the ball got tipped around. Now, one thing I will say that I like that Turner tries to do is all the motion plays. And, sometimes people might be like, well, why do you do the motion on that play and then the play doesn't even go to them? Well, they set it up for maybe a play 3 or 4 plays from now. Maybe next drive, they'll do the same thing, and then maybe the ball will go to Samuel on the end around, or whatever the case may be. I like the little motion setups. I love the fact that he keeps the defense guessing. And you kind of have to do that with a defense like Detroit's, who, they're showing you on this film here that they're very aggressive and that they're very well coached and that they have a lot of good young talent on that defense. That actually is a very young and impressive squad there, in my opinion. And they've got a coach that's got them, ready to run through a freaking wall. And this right here was just a case of no push. Logan Thomas gets no push on that play whatsoever. And there's no hole for AG to go through. And I thought the line did well in this play. They were able to gain 8-9 yards in this play, but the defense sent some pressure from the secondary. If you watch as the play starts up, you'll see him kind of come running in from the right side. But Carson lets go of the ball when he needs to and makes the completion. I mean, it's a really good play if you ask my opinion, especially down here pushed inside of the 10. Yeah, Dotson again. And guys, I know not everybody is the biggest Carson Wentz fan, but when this guy gets a clean pocket and can look through his progressions and see his different receivers down the field and watch what they're doing, he tends to do pretty good on, you know, on the delivery and making it happen. Watch this play. I mean, the offensive line did their job overly that time. I mean, they really did a good job. They gave him a nice pocket for a couple seconds. I mean, that's all you could ask for, man. I realized that, you know, that they were breaking their tackles right there at the end, or excuse me, their blocks right there at the end of that play. But if you give him a couple seconds, he's going to get the ball out of there as quickly as he possibly can. Now you watch this play right here. Trey Turner misses his block, number 63. That linebacker is able to come right through and just stop Antonio Gibson. Now, mind you, even if he doesn't miss his block right there and he doesn't get in to get that, 34 is still standing there ready to make that play. I like this play call right here, okay? I like the fact that the whole team kind of shifts one direction and Carson goes the other. And the defense kind of bites it at first, but he's able to throw back across the field to Terry McLaurin, who, you know, is money as we know it. But this play really works well for me because, Detroit's looking on one side of the field and there's the play to the other. Now, I know you guys have heard me complain already in this film right here about the running backs juking too much. This play right here, I felt like they didn't juke enough. Like he should have juked out towards the edge on the right side, and instead JD kind of cut back to the left and he only gained a yard. I felt like if he'd have cut out to the right, he probably could have gained another 4 or 5. But I guess he felt like his edge was cut off there when the end stopped him. But, you know, it's whatever. Again, when you give Carson Wentz a nice, clean pocket, this is the types of plays that you get from it. Touchdown. And Logan Thomas made a nice catch there too, by the way. Looked like he was double covered, but he's such a big target. I mean, you just float the ball up there a little bit, but that was just a perfect throw by Carson. And they went for 2 and got it. Really good sell by the offensive line there, who shifted to the left. Play was to the right. Hutchinson was caught in no man's land. Now, sometimes you look at something and you think, hey, they're doing a good job. And then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell happened there? That's this play right here. It looks like the line's giving them a nice little clean pocket right there, whatever, you know. And then all of a sudden 98 just comes crashing through. And look, I mean, I don't understand how he does that. He falls off one guy, right? And then slides right in between Charles Leno and Andrew Norwell. Like, how do you do that? Like, whoop, gotcha. Like, how do you do that? Watch it again. Gotcha. My guess is that, you know, it's just the hand or whatever, but they did a very poor job of holding that side up. Like, how does 3 guys, you know, miss out on holding one back? I mean, whose job is that? Is that Roulier's? I guess it's Roulier's job for keeping a hand on him to begin with. But, I mean, damn. You know what? I take that back. Roulier's actually trying to overcorrect there because his guy, yeah, he's actually, you know, keeping his guy out front. Yeah, man. I don't understand that. What happened there with Leno? He just got beat. Norwell was just there, you know, as a spectator. He did nothing to stop him either. A little short arm guy. Thankfully, that wasn't picked. Now, of course, these little RPOs are designed to let Aidan Hutchinson kind of just run free so they don't have to block him, which is actually smart when you have a guy that's been basically, you know, pulling your pants down all day long. And Hutchinson gets caught out there in no man's land again, and this time they complete the pass. I believe it's over there to Curtis Samuels. Yeah, and I like that play right there. That could end up being a bread and butter play as long as we can maybe try to move them. If we can try to move that play a little bit to the right, that would be great because, you know, it might be opened up a little bit, but the awareness is really high on that Lions defensive unit. Hopefully they'll get better at that as the year goes. Just nothing here on this run up the gut. They were all over this, swarming to it. Now, quite obviously, this was a, you know, monkey see, monkey do kind of thing here when they saw Amon-Ra do this for the Lions. But I want to see more of this play right here. Now that you've grabbed it and used it in a game, use it more because Terry is made for plays like that. Okay? Now, what was that I was saying a minute ago about a clean pocket? Give Carson Wentz a clean pocket and what? That's right. He finds his open man. It's just a simple case here of the running back trying to go into the C gap and C gap not being there and him trying to cut back and getting caught in it. And, you know, that side of the ball for the Lions is just really strong. And they were all over that play. Like, look at that. I mean, yeah. I fully believe this play right here could have been a 70-yard touchdown had Terry just cut to the right a tiny bit before cutting back to the left. And obviously, because Jeff Okudah is the guy that he was, getting covered by, with that shoestring tackle. Otherwise, that is a long touchdown. Like, look at that cutback. That's a long touchdown otherwise. And if Okudah doesn't recover there and make that shoestring tackle, that is a long touchdown. And Terry is just professional about that kind of route. Again, what was that about a clean pocket again? Give him a clean pocket and what? And I just love having J.D. McKissic come out of that backfield, by the way. I mean, it's almost unfair if you think about it, because we have another wide receiver out of the backfield, And he just makes this catch. And how many running backs in the league realistically will make that catch unless they're former wide receivers? How many running backs in the league realistically will make that catch? And yeah, it's just perfect. And Detroit was all over this play before it ever even had a chance to begin. But, they had a decent little pocket there, though. And then Gibson just bobbled it, which he made up for in this play right here. And he almost got a touchdown on this play right here. He got 11 yards, and he was just about there. But then, of course, in the very next play, he's able to get that touchdown. So there's that. Well, there's a little bit of a controversy on this two-point conversion here. A lot of people felt like they should have just gone on and kicked it. To me, I don't really see that much of a mistake made here. Yes, he could have gone on and kicked it and took the point. I don't think anybody was really thinking that Sly was going to miss that extra point on the next touchdown either. But, the way that you're supposed to do it, the numbers actually add up for them to go for two. Maybe you could definitely make an argument that it wasn't exactly the smartest thing to do, and they should have just taken the 7, and they had plenty of time. It was still, 10 minutes and 39 seconds left on the clock at this point. So if he had to go for 2 at this point is really unknown. And the bad part about the play is that Carson's kind of slow to react to the open man. And it's because he has to run on the outside, that second little juice spot. And he doesn't really throw the greatest pass in the process. And the Lions cornerback over there just read the play perfectly. And there really wasn't much that could be done there. Not a good ball thrown at all. But Carson was just trying to escape the pocket and make something happen that wasn't there. In retrospect, you kind of wish that he would have thrown it to maybe to the edge of the end zone there by the pylon. Maybe have thrown it at JD. But second guessing is not the way that football is played. So, looking at it now at the film, yeah, maybe he should have thrown it to McKissic, or hindsight being what it is, maybe they shouldn't have gone for it. Now, my take on this play right here is Carson waits a little bit too long, and he's not looking at the player he should be looking at when he goes to his outlet pass. He tries to hit his guy going across to the right, and the guy that really he should have been looking at was J.D. McKissic, who was wide open there in the flat, and I think probably could have done something with that. And what he ended up doing was overthrowing Samuel. Now, this is a play here where the line does a great job and JD does what JD does. This is what we've, grown to love out of him. And again, the next play, Samuel with another one of those type of plays. And I really would like to see more of these as well. I feel like we could do full drives with just passes like this and passes to, to JD and mixing things up, maybe throwing a long ball here and there. Like, the offense could be so good, but right now, I don't feel like we've seen the Russian attack and what it could be yet either. And then, of course, we'll be seeing something like, off a play action setup more so when we see Brian Robinson return, which I'm actually kind of geeked towards seeing, which isn't going to happen until week 5, but he's already looking good in practice. Again, give him a clean pocket, he finds his guy. Now, see, I think this actually is a part of Carson's game that's underrated. His ability to be able to read and react to the play and tell that he needs to pick the ball up and run with it. And, he's actually a decent scrambler, and he gets 18 yards on this. In the holes there, the line held up as long as they needed to. He was able to get a nice little gain there. Obviously, you don't want him doing that every play, but if he needs to do it, it's great to know that the quarterback scramble is there and that he is a guy that can get it. Now, obviously, this is late in the game, and they need scores, so they're having to push the ball. Again, another one of those things we've grown to love JD for. And the line is great on these little quick hitters, and this one right here goes for 12 yards. But, I mean, you give him a clean pocket, he's going to give you a clean pass. Now, unfortunately, Carson threw this ball way too high. Otherwise, we could have seen Cam Sims go up and get this one. And to me, that's what Cam Sims brings to the table, is he's a really good red zone target, and he could go up and get those 50-50 balls, I think, pretty much anywhere on the field. But this one right here, I mean, he's not 20 feet tall, you know. But if the ball is thrown right there, that could be a tutty. I mean, look at how he's got his defender. You know, he's got the defender there. He spins around and the ball's in the right spot. That's a touchdown. And the line, you know, they do exactly what we need them to do. Look, clean pocket. I remember a lot of people were worried about Antonio Gibson not being able to chip block, or, you know, being out there on the field, and the fact that he's a former wide receiver. Everybody figured that he'd be scared, you know, to throw a couple blocks here and there. What I've actually seen is a guy who's over time now gotten pretty good at chip blocking, you know, it maybe even doing a little bit of cutbacks, and, you know, everything that he could really do, the crackback, I mean, everything he could really do has been taught to him since he's been a professional. So to see him do well in this situation right here is great, you know, and they're able to get 6 yards here. But if he doesn't, you know, chip Hutchinson there, maybe they don't get that playoff, you know, and Hutchinson hits the deck on that one. Bop. Look, I mean, you know, bop. He gets it good. And actually, the whole process sends Leno to the ground. You see that? But yeah, it's a good play. And I think maybe he caught him with that hit right as Hutchinson was spinning. And that's what caused Leno to hit the deck. Now, these types of plays you don't want to see very often, because as the pocket collapses, generally your quarterback, you know, obviously the pocket could collapse on him, and you don't want to see that because you don't want to see him get hurt or sacked or anything of that nature. But what you do want to see is your quarterback with the presence of mind to know that he can leave the pocket if he has a chance to, and gain quite a few yardage, and not be scared of doing it. Such as this play right here. He has the opportunity, runs, juices it up. I mean, he almost got in there. And after 2 1-yard runs at the goal line where Detroit really stood him up, you're left with this play right here. And to be honest, this is the kind of plays that worry me when you're like, you know, 3rd and goal and you're down and you need points on the board. Obviously, you can't take field goals at this point. You have to put touchdowns on the board. And I love seeing the call that they went with, but this is the type of plays that worry me. And this is an acrobatic catch by Jahan Dotson. And, you know, I'm not so certain that that's the greatest pass in the world, but, you know, he did throw it where nobody else could pick it off, and he had to throw it over the defensive line, you know, and a guy like Dotson, he catches everything. I don't care if he's got to fall flat on his back and have the weight of another man land on him. He's catching it. And I'm impressed by this kid. That, you know, that was his 3rd touchdown catch right there of his short career. And, you know, he's in the driver's seat as far as Rookie of the Year goes. We'll see how the rest of the year goes out, though. And after saying a few good things about the line, of course, something bad had to happen here. And Norwell just couldn't hold his guy up, and he got pushed back into Carson. And the result was the ball ended up going up real high, and, you know, Carson had to kind of like throw his arm up in a weird little motion, and it ended up going high and almost got picked. And, you know, nothing you can do there as far as if you're John Bates. Like, he doesn't have go-go gadget arms. You can't go reach up and get that. But if you're the Detroit defender, that's why you're not a wide receiver, right? Because that should have been an interception. Right, hit him right in his hands, too. And I put that blame right there on Norwell for not being able to hold his guy up. You put a little bit of power into that, my man. May not always be a big game, but you give him a clean pocket, he's going to find the guy. And he actually had McKissick coming out of the backfield there, and it might have actually been a better play to throw to him. And if you look on the backside back there, you had another wide receiver breaking across. But, hey, you know, in this kind of situation, he took the 6 yards, set up for another play. You got a minute and a half left in the game, and you need 2 scores. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, this play right here, when Washington is the most desperate, This is the play right here where Sam Cosmi gets beat like a drum right here. His guy cuts back in and just speed rushes, and they force Carson back out of the pocket, and all Carson can do is just throw the ball away. That's on Cosmi. Cosmi couldn't keep his guy in check. It's also on the way that their defensive line is running too. If you look at that, that's impressive, that little stunt they did there. If you watch the way that those guys move, like they're in tune with each other. Well coached. That's in the scheme and in the coaching. Now, you hate to see the game end on sloppiness, but that's the way it ended for this team, you know, and the way it ended for this line. And I don't want to take anything away from the Lions because their defense came to play in this game, and they out-schemed us, you know, most of the day. But where this breaks down is Cosmi kind of loses control of his guy, and he cuts back in, and McKissick is there, but he doesn't have control of any kind of block in there. And yeah, it makes Carson turn this way, and you know, the whole play just starts shifting, and they lose control of it. And you know, that defensive line for Detroit were like animals in this game anyway. So all in all, I would not categorize this as a good day for the offensive line whatsoever. And it's actually unfortunate considering the week they had last week. I do believe Detroit has a much better football team than Jacksonville, but there's no other way to look at it other than to say that the offensive line that showed up this week was not the same offensive line that showed up last week. Anytime you give up 5 sacks, the chances are you're going to lose the football game. Hell, you throw in a turnover or 2 in there, and you know the odds are stacked against you to begin with. And it was good to see the team rebound from the way that they looked at the beginning, but it was still overall a hard situation to watch. And I know I saw Chase Roulier go off the field with an injury. I don't know how serious that is, but I'm going to be keeping my eye on that today and into tomorrow to see if maybe we get more information about that. And let's hope that this staff gets this film, goes through it, and sits all their offensive linemen down and let them know what they did wrong and what they can do to improve against guys like Aidan Hutchinson. I mean, that guy is a complete monster, and there has to be things that they need to put in place to be able to do against players like him, because they're going to face a lot more like him and better. You know, they got Micah Parsons on the schedule twice, so they have to, you know, you have to get ready for guys like this, or it's going to be a really long year. Let's just call it like it is. At any rate, let me know what you guys are thinking about the offensive line and this week's performance or whatever down in the comments. As always, make sure to hit that subscription button if you're not already subscribed. Y'all take it easy. Peace.